Parents, by now I'm sure you've heard all the taglines on how bad screen time is for your kiddos. You know, I'm sure you've heard that screen time is at an all-time high nowadays with increasing technology, social media, marketing, TV, video games, and so much more that's affecting our kids, us as well, and it's just a normal part of life for most people. But have you heard about the specific impacts of technology overuse and its effect on teenage anxiety and depression? Do you feel like your teen is addicted to their phone, they can't let it go, and to take it away is like the end of the world for them? Are you struggling to think of ways to decrease their screen time when you know it's absolutely so hard to negotiate with a teenager? Do you feel like you're at a loss for what you can do to help your teen overcome their anxiety, antisocial behavior, and addiction to their social media and their phone? In this video, we are going to dive into solutions for you and your teen, because this truly is an epidemic affecting so many kids and young minds today, and we are seeing a massive increase in teens needing prescription medications, therapy, and just help overall for their mental health. So naturally, parents are looking for natural, drug-free answers to support their kiddos. Nowadays, not only are our kids addicted to technology, their phones, and social media, but the doubling effect of this is that they're missing out on things. They're missing out on being outside, they're missing out on connecting to nature, their phones, they're missing out on socializing with their peers. All these different things are affecting them, and they're not able to interact with their world in an organic way. Learning the street smarts of being out and about and overall building their mental health, developmental skills instead of decreasing them. Now, what I'm saying is we're not supposed to just ban all the phones because that's not realistic. We're not going to cut out social media, just get rid of everything and throw it all away because phones will still be there, laptops will still be there, TV will still be there. It's not realistic to cut it out completely, but to find a balance with things. This is an age of information. Information is being shared everywhere with businesses, marketing, cool new tips and tricks, home repairs, all the different things, and you know how useful the internet can be, but it can also be very detrimental for young minds, especially if they're coming across the things that aren't good for their mental health. And there's a key balance with things, and learning how to balance this wonderful tool of social media and adapt it to your life. But if you're making it your whole life, that's going to be a bigger issue, especially for your child when their brain isn't fully developed. Now, there is a reason why this is such an important topic. This is because teens are the future generation. The kids we are raising right now are our future plumbers, our social workers, our teachers, firefighters, front desk staff, police, owners of corporations, and leaders in politics. And this affects all of us in a very important way. If a generation like our teens right now is struggling the way they are with massive amounts of anxiety and depression and mental health struggles, what does our future look like as a society? So there's a couple studies I want to share with you on the importance of this, and they reference technology and the impact on our teens. There was actually a study that found that teens that spent on average more than 3 hours a day on their phone, they were at a more significant risk of anxiety compared to their peers that spent just around 30 minutes on their phones per day. Another study on major depression in teens that they found in 2014, since 2014, there has been a 140% increase in depression in teenage girls and over 160% increase in depression in teenage boys. That's pretty drastic. Mental illness in college kids since 2010, anxiety has gone up 134% and depression 106%. Anxiety is up in all ages, and that is irrefutable right now, but particularly in ages 18 to 25, which are the kids that are turning into adults that are entering the workforce right now. These are kids that are entering full-time jobs with mental health struggles, needing lots of therapies, lots of medication, and just being overwhelmed with life. And that's really, really tough on their brains. So when we look at this as pediatric neurologically focused chiropractors, we look at the brain in high school and college as going through an immense period of neurological and social development. So their brain isn't actually fully developed until age 25. So these kids are not resilient. They're coming into the workforce stressed, anxious, depressed, and they're addicted to technology, and technology just adds to that stress. So what we know now is that we're seeing over and over in our practice that kids' nervous systems are being shifted or might be stuck in a certain state of what we call fight or flight patterns. This is called sympathetic dominance, where the body is in a mode of protection and stress early on. And you've all seen it. Teenagers that are hunched down like this, looking down on their phones like this, and really just in this protected, tense state. We're not seeing kids that are open and vibrant and running around and just handling life really well anymore. So this is really stressful. So this actually starts with in utero and pregnancy stress. So we take it all the way back to this. It translates to birth stress, coupled with more and more birth interventions that we're seeing more and more commonly today, which then translates into a baby that's stuck in a fight or flight pattern. So instead of having a generation of calm, relaxed babies that are regulating well, pooping well, sleeping with ease, latching well, just doing the things babies should be doing, relaxing, growing, eating, sleeping, and pooping, we're actually seeing a massive uptick of stressed babies that are colicky, not pooping well, not latching well, having to use formula, just really tense, arching their backs, just struggling with a lot of different things. These babies are turning into stressed out kids that can't digest well, they can't emotionally regulate, they have weak immune systems, they get chronically sick, ear infections, they're on antibiotics, they can't sleep, and there's just so much more that this list can continue with. So no wonder when these kids get to teenagehood and all these hormones are added on to this stress that's already there, they don't grow out of this. This actually gets worse. The problem just keeps adding on top of the other problems. So we're actually seeing a massive amount of antibiotics being prescribed during early toddlerhood and kiddo years that destroys the gut, which is the exact place that creates the neurotransmitters, or what we call your happy hormones, called serotonin and dopamine. So these are the happy hormones that make you happy and resilient and excited and make you motivated for things. So these teenagers, after that huge hormone shift, if they've been on many rounds of antibiotics when they were younger, their guts are still depleted, they're not eating well, they're super picky, they're inside constantly, they're looking at their phones. They're also lacking these happy neurotransmitters because their guts are just so depleted. So these teenagers are basically stuck inside with their technology, they're depleted, they don't have enough energy, they're generally fatigued, and you're looking at your child like as an adult, knowing that it only gets harder and more stressful, and knowing what life really entails at that age. So there's a really big issue here. How do we even fix this, and where do we begin? The key lies in developing a resilient and strong nervous system and taking your kiddo out of fight or flight as soon as you see it. So from the get-go, ideally after birth, that's when we see a lot of our babies in the office, because we see that they're more regulated, they develop and hit their milestones on time, they're able to think rationally and clearly when it comes to deciphering information later on when they're older kids. They're able to handle social interactions with their peers really well. They are not having things like ADHD, anxiety, and stress at an early age. Their immune systems are strong. This turns into a healthier teenager that's more resilient, that can handle social situations, that can handle deadlines and homework and all the stressors that school comes with. And so when they're on their social media and on their phones, things are not deciphered or interpreted in the wrong way for them. And it's not contributing more to their anxiety and stress. Yes, you can definitely help as a parent on your end with setting boundaries for your teenager when it comes to time spent on the phone, access to certain apps, creating a balance with the outdoors and true socialization, so they're actually hanging out with friends and getting to know people and able to communicate really well. But this also can help reduce their risk for anxiety and other mental health challenges too. So setting those boundaries is very important as a parent. But if you're hitting like a plateau with all of this and you just can't get past that barrier with your teen, there could be something off in their nervous system, or more stress, or that constant state of fight or flight that we were talking about. That is where that plateau is coming from. So if these poor habits are continuing and you can't get any progress with these types of issues and the addiction and the anxiety and the stress, and you can just tell that your child is struggling, please bring them into a pediatric, neurologically certified chiropractor. So we're obviously an office like that, and we can find someone near you if you're not local to us. But we can help your child regulate. We can do nervous system scans on them to see where they're holding their stress and tension in their bodies, and just help them release that stress. We've had many cases of actually teens coming in that wouldn't make eye contact with us, wouldn't talk to us. The parents were at a loss for what they could do for their kids. They were just hitting barriers left, right, and center with school, personal life, no friendships. And we really just started to see the life come back into them after starting care with them. We tend to do more of an intense plan in the beginning, especially if there's a lot of stress going on. But in the long run, this really helps these kids regulate, handle life better, and just be more prepared for life in general. And who needs more resiliency? We all do that. We all need that. So I hope this video finds you well. If you're interested in getting scans on your teen's nervous system, let us know how we can help you, and God bless.